is Microsoft Copilot Training 101, Copilot Readiness. I am Courtney Lawton, your instructor, and I welcome you to GAI Insights, where our mission is to help companies drive value with Gen AI. Now, we specialize in a few areas such as research and advisory, capability building, we host community conferences, and we inform our audiences with navigator and buyer's guide resources. GAI is led by our CEO, Paul Beyer, and our principal and co-founder, John J. Sivokla. They are both Harvard Business School graduates, and they have 25 years plus experience in this field. So by the end of the session, you will be able to master Copilot Chat's core features. You'll learn the difference between Copilot Work versus Copilot Web. You'll have a chance to write powerful prompts and apply Copilot to your role by preparing real work use cases. You'll develop new AI habits and set yourself up for adoption in your own work. Now, before we get started, I like to get a quick poll on how familiar you are with Copilot. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being completely new and 10 being expert user, how familiar are you with Copilot? Just plop your number in the chat. And if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to pop those in the chat as well. If myself or our operations manager, Jenny, is not able to get to your question, then we will cover them at the end. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 4, 2, 6, 7. I find it kind of grouchy. It can be. You want to cultivate a good relationship with your LLM, your large language model. All right. So we have some good things. We have a lot of beginners here, so that's good. And then we have some people who may already have some use cases in mind. So let's get started. Now, what is Microsoft Copilot? So Copilot is a large language model that is best used for organizational purposes or work purposes. Now, you can use it for personal reasons, as you would use a ChatGPT or maybe even a Claude, but Microsoft Copilot really shines in an organization's context because it gathers data from your organization's emails, documents, and chat, allowing you to generate content, analyze any data, and receive meeting support. Copilot works in Microsoft apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, and there are standalone chat experiences. Organizations using AI assistants report 40% faster project completion and significantly higher employee satisfaction with daily work experiences. I can say for myself, since I've started using Copilot at work, my work days have been a lot more enjoyable. So let's meet your co-pilots. Copilot Web and Copilot Work. Web access, what we'll work in today, is accessed via copilot.microsoft.com. It accesses public data, general knowledge, and recent information. This is good for brainstorming, research, and finding new topics. Now, work access, this is where you would sign in with your work email or your business email if you have that. And this is where it will compile all of that good company data, emails, documents, chats, and calendar, integrate into your apps, and really be able to give you a full enterprise experience. Now, Copilot Work is a part of the 201 level training for work account users, but we will quickly review how Copilot works inside the apps for when you do, or if you do have work access. After that, we'll jump right back into web, which we'll spend the rest of our focus on. So if you get access to Copilot Work, the first thing you may notice is a blue and purple ribbon in your Microsoft Outlook. This is good for summarizing emails, recapping any emails, writing emails, and responding emails. It's very easy to use. The icon is usually located on the top of your screen. You click it and the side panel opens in Microsoft Outlook. Now, in Microsoft Word, it has the same interface. You'll see the Copilot ribbon there, top right. Once you click that, turn on your your GPT-5, and you can begin things like summarizing the document, drafting content for the document, asking the document questions, which is a really good feature I like to use, and just pretty much getting that Microsoft Word sort of experience. Now, in Microsoft Excel, this is handy if you're not good with formulas like myself. Now you can skip that and ask Copilot in the same way if it can create bar charts, line charts, create formulas for you, analyze data, and put that into a nice report for you. It can make different types of formatting. As you'll see here, you're able to create a bar chart in complete color. Now for Microsoft PowerPoint, last but not least, works in the same manner. You click the purple and you click the pink and blue ribbon at the top. Copilot will open up on the side, and you can begin either asking the PowerPoint questions, suggesting revisions, remembering the content for future use, and even generating some content that you can then copy and paste and put onto your slide, like what we see here in the example. So that's just a brief overview of what you have to look forward to should you decide to sign up for 201, or if you are thinking about using Copilot work in your own business, or if your organization is starting to roll that out, you'll already be ahead of the curve. Now let's get started with Copilot Web. I want you to be able to participate. So let's go ahead and prep our workspace. Start by signing in to Copilot Web at copilot.microsoft.com. And Rayella, if you could please mute your mic, please. Thank you. Okay, and make sure you have your chat ready and open. And during this session, it's important that you don't use any sensitive data that you may have or any personally identifiable information in any of today's exercises. Once you've accessed Copilot Web, once you have the chat open, just give me a thumbs up so I know that you are ready. For those with Windows OS, it looks like Copilot is already installed. That is correct, but we are focusing on Copilot Chat today. So I recommend that you use the online browser rather than your app. I have the app version as well, but the functionality is a little bit different than what we want to go through today. All right, looks like we got a lot of thumbs up. I'll give those who are switching from app to browser another minute, and then we'll get started. All right, she's ready. So let's demo what Copilot Web Chat looks like. We'll learn where the core functionalities live, like your file data tools, suggested prompts, pages, and a few navigation tips to get you started. So here I am logged in to copilot.microsoft.com. The first thing I notice is that I'm not signed in. If you plan on saving any conversations from today's session, Signing in will save your conversations. Now, if you don't want your conversation saved, if you want it to work somewhat like a Google Incognito where you don't want that data being there, then you don't have to sign in for today. So I'm going to stay signed out for test purposes only because I don't want any of that data saved for later. So let's dive into it. The first thing you'll see right in front of you is called the input box. This is where you will write your prompts. Right below it, you see a plus mark or a plus icon that says open. And here you can add images or files, Word documents, PDFs, and some image extensions like JPEG or PNG. You can also copy and paste text from your clipboard. If you have copied text from another source, you can paste it from your clipboard there. You can generate an AI generated image as well. And then they've added two funky little features you can do: create a podcast. I've yet to use that, but I'm sure it's interesting, and start a quiz. This is really good if you are learning new languages or learning a new concept, or you want to teach something to a kid or a child. This will be a nice feature to use. It's very good for learning. Now, right next to that, we have the conversation modes. Now, we want to just know where the conversation modes live right now. We don't want to get too deep into them because we have an activity for that later. But right now, I just want you to know that quick response, think deeper, study and learn, smart, and search are the 5 conversation modes that Copilot offers right now. So, what is a conversation mode? A conversation mode pretty much shapes the type of response that you're going to receive. So, a quick response would be you'll get that almost in a split second. Think deeper takes longer. Study and learn, the format will be in the form of quizzes and guided learning. Smart is adaptable to quick response for think deeper, and search is when you're looking for a enhanced reference list. So we'll talk more about that later. Just want you to know where it lives for now. And on the right is my favorite feature. This is to talk to Copilot. This is for conversational prompting. If you're not quite sure what to type in your input box, if you don't know where to start for a particular topic, pressing this mic and starting a conversation with Copilot is a really good way to get those prompts started. On the left hand side is where your conversations will save. To start a new conversation, you just go up to the left to the upper right of the left panel and click new conversation. Some of you in the app version may be able to start a new conversation from the plus icon, but that is a special feature of the app, FYI. Also, the conversation modes may be located at the top of the screen inside of your app. So there's a bit of a little bit of interface difference there. Now, on the left, these tabs are pretty much for fun, except for pages. Pages is where you want to work if you were working on a long document or a long research project and you want to have a focused workspace that keeps the context of what you're talking about. This is good for when you're working on projects that will go on for days, weeks, or even months. You can edit in here as you would a Word document, and you can also input some HTML code if you have it. You can share this document, add a new one, and this sources button allows you to upload documents such as a PDF, a PowerPoint, a Word document to use as source information as you're creating your project inside of this page. So this is actually a new feature, this sources. This was not here last week. So that's just an example of how quickly these Gen AIs can be updated. So just going back every maybe once a week to check out what functionalities have been added is a good practice. So that is pages. And then we'll quickly go over the remaining tabs on the left panel. Discover works as sort of a news feed for Copilot here. Imagine this is new. This is somewhat of an art gallery created by Copilot. Library. This is where all of your images will save when you generate them. So if you made an image maybe last week, you want to reuse it, you forgot to save it, you can go back here to your library and sign in, and you'll see all of your images. And you can also create an image here on the right. Your pages also save here as well. So if you're ever looking for a page that's missing, once you sign in, all of your pages will appear. The same with your research report. If you have that search the web option on, and any podcasts you create. So this is your library of any generated content. So let's head back to the presentation and talk about how to use Copilot. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, so it sounds like we are on the right page. And if you have any, feel free to drop them as the presentation goes on. Okay, so prompting fundamentals. This is how you are going to use Copilot. Your response that you get from your prompt is not the end all be all. Your expertise does matter. AI is not a replacement for you, it amplifies you. So you are the one who decides if the final output is good enough for you to use. After you create your prompt and AI generates it, that is your time to refine and provide more feedback to your co-pilot on what you want to produce. This continues on in a cycle until you have the output that you want. Now, you're probably thinking, that sounds like I'm going to be going through a lot of cycles to get to my end output. In some cases, yes, if you don't have a structured prompt. Now, a prompt is an instruction to your co-pilot. It's a bridge between AI and your needs. So the more specific you are in your needs, the stronger results that AI will give you. So if you invest time in crafting your good in crafting good prompts, you will get dramatically better results, and that will reduce the number of revision cycles that you have to go through with your co-pilot. So what does it mean to have a good prompt? A good prompt has context. It sets the scene with background information. It has a task. It clearly states what you want AI to do, and it includes how you want the output structured. So, a poor prompt example would be make a presentation about marketing. This is poor because there is no context, there is a vague task, and it's missing a format and audience details. A good version of this prompt would be, I am preparing for a client presentation next week about our Q3 marketing results. Create a 5-slide outline covering campaign performance, key metrics, lessons learned, and Q4 recommendation. So AI responds really well to specificity. The more precise your prompt, the more useful your results will be. So you're probably thinking, that's a lot of information to remember every time I create a prompt. Well, a really good template that you can do is called the persona pattern. The persona pattern is made up of role, task, and output, RTO. All you have to remember is RTO. The role is Copilot's role, the way it will function, the kind of professional or person you want AI to be. The task is what you want accomplished, and the output is what AI should deliver. So in the example below, we see an example role is you are a marketing manager with 5 years experience. You do want to put that you are in front of any sort of title or function, so AI knows that you are initiating a persona pattern. The task example, Create a quarterly campaign performance analysis. The output is where you're going to put the details of that performance analysis, executive summary with key metrics, trends, and recommendations for next quarter. So the full RTO prompt is: you are a marketing manager with 5 years experience, create a campaign performance analysis, create an executive summary with key metrics and trends for next quarter. So just to make sure that we have understanding of how to have a conversation with Copilot, I want you to choose a real work task or a personal task and craft a prompt using the RTO prompt pattern: role, task, and output. Now, you do want to participate in this activity because the next activity will bleed from this, and I don't want you to feel left behind. So once you've created your prompt, go ahead and drop it in the chat so that I can know you're ready. Thank you, Moa. Yes, AI is not a replacement for you, it amplifies you. All right, guys, we have plenty of time, so don't feel rushed. Yes, Jenny, that's correct. You are telling Copilot what it should be with the role. So you are a product manager. Great nuance. Sometimes it's a what it should be or a who you are. Okay, good one. Mm-hmm. Good one. Very specific, Moa. Good one. Oh, great one. Great. I like the specificity and the number of years of experience. Great nuance. All right, we'll just give everyone else a couple more minutes. We have plenty of time. Okay. All right. And if I didn't say before, make sure you are running these prompts in Copilot as well. Very specific, 1,000 words. All righty. Looks like we have almost everyone. Oh, here's a good one. Very good. That's good, guys. Adding the number of years, if your AI is going to be a professional, is very important. If it's work that you plan to replicate, you want to make sure that it's work you feel comfortable doing. So great job, everyone. Now let's go back to talk about those conversation modes that we saw earlier. Copilot offers distinct conversation modes, okay? You match the mode to your task for better results. For instance, a quick response is for instant, straightforward answers on quick, low risk tasks. These are tasks where the answer is not going to be right or die. It can be very low maintenance. This is not a research or a work question. Think deeper is for careful reasoning, analysis, and planning on complex tasks. This is more work oriented. This is where you want AI to take its time and use some of its reasoning to give you an analysis so you can make decisions on it. So this differs from quick response. Quick response is not very good for making decisions. It's more for information, such as what is the weather today, what is the top 5 news, things like that. Think deeper is more for those and for those tasks for you to analyze and plan on complex information. Now, study and learn, this is for step-by-step learning. This can be on topics that are unfamiliar to you, policy, procedure, learning new languages. This is going to present that information in more of a learning style. This is not something that you would want to copy and paste and give to your coworker per se. It's more for you to use so you can learn something new. Now, Smart GPT-5 switches between think deeper and quick response depending on your task. What this does is it uses GPT-5 to analyze your response, and it decides if a quick response is good enough to fulfill this response or if it needs to think deeper. This is going to be good for conversations that may start simple but end up more complex over time, such as strategies, policy documentation, technical documentation, things where the complexity can go up and down throughout the project. Now, search pulls current information from the web and it's going to provide a list of sources for you. So search is good when having information with sources is critical to the decision or where fresh facts is critical to the output. So these are the 5 conversation modes and Copilot right now. What I want you to do is rerun your prompt and another conversation mode and compare the results. So if you ran your Copilot, your prompt in quick response before, try think deeper. If you use think deeper before, try search. Try getting some references for that analysis. If you used smart, try study and learn. Try to learn the information that Copilot has just given you. Once you're done with that, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Can we stay in the same conversation or need to start a new one? You can copy and paste the prompt in the same conversation and just change the mode. That's a really good way to see your comparison easy. Great question. Okay. Where is the mode option again? Great question. The mode option is going to be either on the bottom of the input box, and sometimes they have it at the very top of the window. Okay. Looks like everyone is ready. No problem. All righty. Quiz time. So we're going to have a small quiz just to make sure we understand how these different conversation modes work. They can make all the difference in the quality or the type of response you want. Sometimes you don't want a super complex response. Sometimes you want something simple or vice versa. So I'm going to read out each scenario one by one, and then I want you to post your pick in the chat. Not your picture, your pick of conversation mode. Think, smart, quick, search, or study. Drop one of those words in the chat after I read off each scenario. After I'm done with all the scenarios, I'll show the answer on the next slide, and then you'll know if you got the answer right or not. Okay? Looks like everyone's ready, so we'll get started. Scenario 1. Which mode would you use for drafting a 2-sentence reply to a teammate that you want to keep it upbeat? Which mode would you use for drafting a 2-sentence reply to a teammate? Think, smart, quick, search, or study. Okay, you guys are fast. Scenario 2. You are learning a new concept and you want a quick quiz just to check your learning. Which mode would you use? Think, smart, quick, search, or study. Okay, I see you guys answering. Great job. Scenario 3. You need today's numbers and current sources for a presentation. You need today's numbers and current sources. Which mode would you use? Okay. Scenario 4. You are not sure how deep to go. You want to start fast, but your follow ups may get more complex. Which mode would you use? All righty. And scenario 5. Oh, we got some coming in. Okay. And scenario 5. You need to outline a multi step rollout plan with trade offs and the risks all called out. Which mode would you use this for? A multi step rollout plan with trade offs and risks. Okay. Looks like we're ready to see the answers. Okay, so for question number 1, drafting a 2-sentence reply, the answer is quick response. This prioritizes speed for short messages. Number 2, you're learning a new concept and want a step-by-step quick quiz. The mode here is study and learn. Number 3, you need today's numbers and current sources. This mode is going to be search for finding recent information from the web with sources. Number 4, you're not sure how deep to go. You want to start fast, but things might get more complex. You want to use SMART here to adjust your response depth and speed based on task complexity. Finally, you want to outline a multi-step plan with trade-offs and risks. The mode here would be think deeper. So you have more processing time for deep analysis and planning. No single mode is best or better than the other. It just depends on the task and the goal you want to achieve. So great job, everyone. All right, let's take a pause for a second and start thinking about how we can use all this new information we've just learned for work. We said earlier that Copilot does have standalone chat features, but it really does shine when we use it at work. That's where we get the most of our productivity. So when you're talking about Copilot at work, the term use case gets used a lot. A use case describes any way you can use the AI to assist you. It connects to your daily tasks and capabilities to improve your productivity. So let me take a step back. I said use cases is typically used for work. That is true, but you can also have personal use cases, such as getting your car fixed or what have you. As long as the use case addresses a current challenge, as long as Copilot can provide the solution, and as long as the outcome is better than if you had done it by yourself or without Copilot, then you have a case for a strong use case. So, an example of a use case would be email management. The challenge it's addressing here is having to spend 2 hours a day or more managing your inbox. And Copilot has a solution for that. Copilot can summarize long email threads and suggest responses. We saw this before in the demo and earlier slides. And the better outcome is that you cut your email time by 60%, so you can focus on high priority conversations. So, that is a common example of a use case. Copilot has many use cases, though. You can generate content, reports, proposals. You can do research and analysis. You can communicate through professional email, summarize discussions. You can also clean data sets in Excel, create pivot tables, create bar charts, and interpret Excel and interpret results. You can use it for brainstorming, problem solving, strategizing, evaluating options, and also for project management, creating project timelines, Gantt charts, identifying the dependencies, and just streamlining those operation processes. So you're probably thinking, wow, okay, that is a lot of use cases, but which one of these would be most useful for me? When I leave here today, I want to be able to start using Copilot right away. So we're going to figure that out in this next activity. How could Copilot support my role? What I'm going to do is copy and paste the prompt below into the chat. I want you to fill in the placeholders with your information and paste it into your Copilot web. The prompt is in the persona pattern you all are familiar with, RTO. It says you are an expert in assessing practical ways to use Copilot in blank role. This is where you would input the role. And then you would say, I am your role at your company. It doesn't have to be the name of your company. Remember, we said we don't want to put any identifying information into our Copilot right now. So you can just put the industry that you work in, finance, healthcare, childcare. You can put that there. And the output is in the table, list 10 Copilot use cases with columns, use case benefit to me, and company value. So I'm going to paste this prompt in the chat now so you can fill it in and paste it into your Copilot. All righty. Now you have plenty of time. You don't have to rush. Take your time and think about a task that's really meaningful to you, or maybe, I'm sorry, I'll take that back. Take your time to experiment with the different conversation modes. If your role is more complex, if there's a lot of different restrictions in your role, maybe your role has different types of people who work that same job title. Experiment with different conversation modes to see what gives you the best response here. When you're done, copy and paste your favorite use case in the chat. If you have any questions, just let me know. Feel free to come off the mic or post it in the chat. Sam, I've heard of KPIs. I didn't know we had KRIs now. Very good. Excellent. Excellent problem to address, Kayla. Nothing new to me. Already using AI for everything I've bought up, but I've been using ChatGPT since 2003. Well, do you have any personal use cases or any personal tasks? You need your car fixed, need new appliances. Maybe you can look at use cases for a promotion or career change you're thinking about, or someone you know. Excellent use case. You should save definitely a lot of time there, Mina. Okay, Jacquees going to try personal option. Excellent. Take your time. We got plenty of it. If you don't think your use cases are advanced enough, try think deeper or try even search to see what the top use cases for your role are according to the web. All right, we're going to give it 3 more minutes. Wonderful. Assist in building business use cases and financial. So you just did a meta use case. You have a use case inside of a use case builder, a use case prompt inside of a use case prompt. That's very clever, Gavin. Okay, it looks like everyone's got their use cases. I'll give you just another minute to make sure you've had a chance to experiment with those different conversation modes. Okay, looks like we're all set. So now that you have your use case, don't think of this as the end all be all. There are many ways Copilot can help you in your work or personal. All you have to do is ask the robots. When in doubt, ask AI if it can help you draft something faster, if it can help you catch errors that you might miss. Anytime you sit down and start a task, ask yourself, can AI provide me with a different perspective? Or should I use AI to help me answer this question? Should I use AI to help me research this topic? Right? Um, a lot of times we forget to use AI because we don't know all that it can do. We forget all of the different features that it has. So, to get in the habit of developing the habit of using AI and for routine tasks, one thing that helped me when I first started was setting a daily reminder to check in with AI every morning before work, or if I was not working before that day, just to see what I can tick off of my to do calendar. What can I make easier that day? Doing that will make using AI as automatic as checking your email or your calendar. So you're probably wondering, where do I go from here? I would recommend taking your use cases and refining them and experiment with them, see if they're actually helpful, gather some feedback from your manager or your team. Perhaps use Copilot to think of some ways that your team can benefit, not just you, right? Show the value to your team, how this can be useful for you all. Then next, reach out to your IT or your department manager. Ask about the process for getting Copilot at work if you don't already have it, right? You can ask Copilot to help with this as well. What steps can I take to get Copilot fully integrated into my workflow? After that, the next thing you want to do is decide or think about how you want to take your Copilot further. Draft a simple roadmap about features that you're interested in, things you want to learn to make your workflows more easier, to find out what you can do specifically for your role. Start thinking about what you can do or what you want to do beyond what you learned today. Okay, so now I just want you to take a moment to drop one word in the chat about how you were feeling after this presentation. Just one word. Informed, that's great. More empowered, excellent. Equipped, interested is excellent. I love illuminated, informed, curious. Mm-hmm. Good job, Michael. That is great. Well, now we have about 10 minutes. Let me check with Copilot before I answer this. Good one. Anyone else want to share how they're feeling? All right. Well, now we have about 10 minutes left. This is your time to ask any questions that I didn't answer during the presentation. Anything you're curious about, you can either come off the mic or drop it in the chat. Yes, I definitely recommend playing around with AI a bit more, with Copilot a bit more. If you don't have a question, just put me a thumbs up in the chat, and then we will wrap up for today. Gavin's good. Kara's good. Moa's good. Mina's good. Kayla's good. Jennifer's good. Oh, Pavani's good. All right. I will take the hint that we are all good. Now, next steps, this doesn't have to be the last time that you are at GAI. You can visit us at gaiinsights.com for our other sessions and resources and finding out more information about those 201 courses. We cover things like custom assistance, advanced prompting and evaluation. We dive deep into the 365 apps, not just demo them, and we talk more about those multimodal and power tips like images and structured outputs. So just go ahead and bookmark gaiinsights.com and join the mailing list for our dates and our enrollment links for upcoming sessions. If you are welcome, Moa. If you don't have any more questions, feel free to drop off. And hopefully, I'll see you Thursday at our Chat GPT session.